All right, so we're back with some more Sparking Zero updates here, and I think the big part of today's video right now is going to be this Know Your Fighter's new article. So essentially, we're going to go over this article which talks about, how there's 181 playable characters. Of course, that is not including the pre-order character, but they're going specifically into details about the characters' fighting styles and unique appearances, and things such as quick time events, switches, transformations, and fusions. So I think it'll be good to look through this and cover this, because this could be us viewing why the developers decided to actually make certain characters a certain way, or certain subtypes of characters, and maybe if there's any changes from the original that they might know. So I think this could be interesting. I actually haven't looked into the full thing myself just yet. I took a peek and it seemed like it could be just a good thing to cover. Then there's a couple of smaller things I do want to cover. We'll save some of them for the end, but this one I want to show right here. So there's this new link, this new site here on the EU page of Bandai Namco that we're able to view all fighters. I don't believe it's the same for the actual Sparking Zero web page. Yeah, it is different here. So we just see screenshots here, and that's the thing I've usually been using in my videos. But now, for this roster, we're able to see the actual renders for each character. So let's say Super Saiyan 4 Goku, we're able to see how Super Saiyan 4 Goku's render looks right there. Let's say, Super Saiyan Mid Goku, I think, is a popular character, right? We're able to see his render right there. So, this is actually, for me, this will be very useful for thumbnails. We see UI signs right there. We could see UIs right there. If you want to look at this, I'll try to remember to leave this in the actual comments section below or something like that. Maybe in the description, I'll try to remember leaving this. But you're able to see the render of every single character. Like here's Rose Goku Black, and this will be probably the last one I show. Wait, Fusions of Monsters is gonna be cool now, okay? Because I want to see maybe some characters with certain auras. But anyways, you're able to see the full roster here. I like the Frieza soldier by himself. Yeah, dude, the Frieza soldier render. Let's go. That's gonna be awesome. Okay, but no. Anyways, let's continue on to the Know Your Fighters article here. And so there's a summary, types of characters, the unique looks, and then a special maneuvers you could do, which should be like these special abilities, right? So types of characters. You can enjoy different playstyles in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero depending on the strength and fighting habits of the characters in the original series. Their style is affected by statistics, size, and characters' forms. Let's have a look at the different categories of characters you can play in the game, and then they're just showing Vegito doing the Kamehameha. Here's a grab clash that we've seen before as well. Pretty cool to see. These characters base most of their gameplay around their heavy strike and powerful blast. For strength type characters, it says. Although they may be slower, okay, that's good to know, the raw power will compensate as they deal high damage. Some of these characters are so strength oriented that they may not even stagger from Ki Blast and Smash Stack. So this is kind of, I'm assuming, like Broly. Based on their statistics, these characters could have two types of specialization, melee and blast. The first one will enhance the damage dealt with rush combos at close combat, while the second applies that the character can rely on a blast attack and Ki Blast to inflict damage. Okay, so they show Jiren as an example, so I assume Jiren probably Jiren has a lot of Ki Blast attacks, being fair. Like Jiren spams a lot of Ki Blast in the fight with Goku, but I would assume he might be melee. Either way, we could say, Broly, I think, obviously Z Broly, right? We could say Jiren, like these big guys. Maybe Android 16 could count as one. Maybe even Garlic Jr., Final Form Cooler, maybe. I don't know. Because this is like a classification of these characters, right? Rather than, not all of them. Because it says some of them may not stagger from Ki Blast and Smash attacks. So that's just the classification of said characters. Maybe God Topo, obviously the big muscly guys. You know what I mean? I think rather than someone like First Form Frieza, maybe Second Form Frieza fits in that specific classification of things. But that is cool. Okay, that's good to know. Again, these characters may be slower though, as the one kind of drawback, but they will end up doing more damage. So here's speed. On the opposite end, some characters base their attack strategy on swiftness, which they use for long-lasting assaults which are hard to interrupt. Even if some of their strikes are ladder, your opponent will have trouble trying to catch you as you move quickly over the map and deliver combos with stunning speed. Escaping from rush combos of characters that rely on speed will be tougher compared to the characters not fitting. They use Cocoon as an example, but I think a very clear example here, if I could bring that boy up, wherever he is this guy. Birder is definitely speed right there. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys, even BT3, have seen Link of Birder. Can cook, but Birder and Sparking Zero. Actually, I have a literal video dedicated to Birder on my channel from previous demos, where Birder himself is really fast, right? And he feels very smooth. And the thing is that I feel like, you know, the damage difference, at least for this character, didn't feel as drastic, you know? So obviously there would be a difference between like a speed character and then, you know, a character that's a strength version, probably like Z Broly right here. But I think the fact that, you know, we have this different classification is really cool. Maybe Android 17, I could see him potentially being like a speed character with Kakunsa. Who else could be a speed character at the top of my mind? I mean, potentially Whis. I mean, Whis is... I mean, Whis could be strength and speed, bro. Based on this series specifically, right? So it'll be interesting. Dispo. Oh yeah, Dispo's obviously going to be in there as well. But Bird is the one I played with and the one that came to my mind, so that's why I'm thinking like he could be one of these type of characters right there. So there's Ki Blast specifically, and obviously Vegeta will fit in this. They use a little gif of Vegeta. So there are some characters who are master of Ki Blast, excelling in a fighting style that they can maintain control while keeping the opponent at a distance. They have the ability to fire multiple consecutive energy blasts while consuming the minimal energy. Okay, so like, do characters like Vegeta, these are things like smaller things that I might not have paid attention of, or maybe closer in the final build, if anything. But like Vegeta right here is known for his powerful and rapid Ki Blasts. Okay, but they include Goku in here, who can last the Kamehameha, and Frieza, who possesses the Death Beam. So they have the ability to fire multiple consecutive energy blasts while consuming minimal energy. Okay, that makes sense. So I assume that's mostly for like these blasts specifically right there, which, you know, we can definitely find use in those blasts for sure. There will be ways that we'll be able to find use in like the normal blast or even the charged Ki Blast specifically. But in terms of like, you know, Goku's Kamehameha or Frieza's Death Beam, like the key meter that they use doesn't seem like it's like too drastically lower from other characters. In fact, across the roster it seems more or less even. Okay, but again, like obviously I guess it makes sense that Goku would be classified here in Ki Blast, Frieza as well, and Vegeta obviously, right? So okay, that's good to know. Giant forms, I mean, we kind of know about giant forms already, but like here's Anaraza right there. Oh, they're showing Goku in his Whis outfit here. That's actually really cool. Blue Goku in the Whis outfit looks. I honestly really like the Whis outfit. I'm glad that they just like stopped using a Dragon Ball Super. Very disappointing. Dragon Ball Daima has an outfit that's kind of like a mix of Goku's original and the Whis-Gi though, so that's kind of cool too. Given their impressive size, these characters are much slower than others, but they strike more powerful blows that will stagger and send your opponent flying away. On top of that, they're numb to throw and then some blast attacks. You can take advantage of their overwhelming presence on the map to hit your opponent with a wider range. Their impressive size and power comes at the expense of sometimes having trouble hitting smaller opponents, which may evade their assault more easily. So again, that could be like, you know, GT Goku right here. We can include Dragon Ball Daima Goku in there. Who else would fit this? I guess Krillin would fit this. The kids, right? Goten and Trunks and Gotenks right there. First from Frieza, right? So okay, I mean, it's kind of like what we already knew. Kid Goku, obviously, where it's like, oh, dude, I'll have to complain real quick. I really dislike that they use the Dragon Ball Super Broly version of Kid Goku, where he has the undershirt, but like he doesn't at least have like the shoulder, like how do I explain it? Like the shirt doesn't go through his arms, and they're just like, I don't know, it's. And then the shoes are different. Like, bro, just use the OG Dragon Ball variant. Like this. Okay, whatever. Anyways, that's just a little small, you know, nitpick for me. This is stuff we already knew, right? You know, I think this stuff is kind of like stuff that they're going a little more into detail about. But like giants we already knew. Androids we kind of already knew here. But let's just read what they say here. Androids are artificial humans that don't possess ki. In fact, they can not. Well, necessarily. They cannot charge their ki bar unless their energy reaches the max level. Their ki gauge will automatically charge over time through melee attacks, and it will stop charging once it reaches its maximum. To incorporate this into your strategy, strike with rush combos continuously, giving your opponent no chance to charge ki. Some androids don't even have the ability to absorb ki blasts and certain blasts during super perception, which will charge their gauge faster. So obviously we know super perception is triangle circle, and with super perception you're able to not only like kind of counter a revenge counter, but if your opponent is also doing the like a key blast at you, if you time it correctly, triangle zero, or if you're guarding it then do triangle zero, I believe like you can knock the blast away, but androids will be able to absorb that key. So well, specifically like Dr. Zero and Android 19 will be able to absorb the opponent key blast. So like they even mentioned right here, characters that can automatically charge the max are 13, 16, 17, 18. 19 and Zero could charge more key by landing melee attacks. Okay. So, with 19 and 0, they charge more ki by landing melee attacks, but they don't automatically charge ki. And furthermore, they can absorb the opponent's ki blast attacks and some types of kiwi blast. One thing they don't talk about is Dr. Zero's grab. That grab absorbs health in like 2 ki bars, which, I mean, we only have 5 ki bars. That is actually quite good. Like, I would assume Android 19 probably has a similar grab because they both absorb the energy from the opponent. That grab is good because I feel like ki in this game is way more important, which could be an issue for androids, man. Ki in this game with the movement, like everything you do uses ki, like unless you're like doing the most basic movement, like the movement you're gonna want to use, the ki blast you want to use sometimes, and a bunch of other things, like everything uses ki. Essentially feels like, right? So because of that, ki is really important. So it could be potentially harder with androids, though at the same time, you could say in an online aspect, if someone's not giving you the time to actually charge your ki, then it could be a thing where it's going to be a lot easier for the androids. You can make that argument for sure, and it's something we'll have to see once we're actually in game and we can see how the final speed of the game is going to be, because in the demo I played mostly against CPUs and it didn't really feel like a big deal. People who played BT3 even on a much more competitive level could probably give a better input on that, but again, androids seem mostly the same as well. And a lot of this may just be very similar to BT3, but I don't recall a lot of these being specifically stated. It's just stuff we kind of figured out, right? But let me know if I'm wrong in the comments below. And then here is the unique look. So try characters' unique look and distinctions. I said that completely wrong. The game faithfully reproduces some features, whether it is accessory ability or cosmetics that may or may not affect gameplay. So sword right here, obviously, we see Dragon Ball Z Trunks with the sword. I think this is a new screenshot. And sword fighting is one of them. Iconic swordsmen from the series will use their sword in a lot of combos, rush and blast to faithfully create their famous moves. There are also characters who use a sword to launch energy blast that pierce through guard with the smash energy blast. So that's good to know as well, that those charge attacks do, I believe they did in the past, but now they still do smash through guards, just like BT3. Of course, we could talk about the sword Trunks right here. This guy, I think he's actually going to be potentially one of my mains, right? I didn't make a tier list for that. It should be out sometime this week probably. There's a lot of video ideas I wanted to make. I think a big guy for a lot of people that was recently confirmed is Janemba, right? Janemba with the sword. He's very cool. Tapion also has a sword as well. I could have brought up his render, but I like Tapion though. Super Aura. Some characters, such as the strongest form in Dragon Ball Super in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, have their aura always being on. The powers overflowing results in a stunning visual expression of the ki. Again, this is just visual stuff right here, like unique looks, right? So the aura will be up always. We could talk about UI Goku, the same thing. Full Power Jiren, we kind of saw the same thing. Fusions of Masu a little bit, right? The Scouter is an iconic item. You could select characters mostly from the Frieza Force and equip them, which will grant boost of a search radius when equipped depending on the quality of the Scouter. With this previous accessory, players will be avoid... Oh, okay, interesting. Let me take a look here. With this precious accessory, players will be able to avoid losing track of their opponent for too long. Note that the damage taken during battle could result in the destruction. When the Scouter is destroyed, it becomes difficult to... Okay, so with the Scouter, actually, there's a actual gameplay change here, where with the Scouter, you have an easier time of keeping a lock on the opponent, which obviously makes sense. But with the Scouter destroyed, it becomes more difficult to lose the opponent, right? And that depends if you put the scouter on or don't have the scouter on at all. So that's cool, actually. Okay, I do like that kind of idea. Ground characters, so like Roshi right here, or Dragon Ball Kid Goku, they can't fly. They'll slowly fall back to the ground as I can't remember in the name for long. On the other hand, the only ones who could run on the ground, so take advantage of this, is just Master Roshi Naruto running. Is the funniest thing ever. I actually had to like tweet about that, like Master Roshi, Master Roshi Naruto running. Dude, this is actually hilarious to me. I know obviously it's just like, you know, the running animation, but can I can do this, right? Yeah. Well, I have to download it, and then I have to post it separately. Surely this will bang, chat. This is well, it doesn't upload. Oh well, you know what? Also, there's this right here. We'll take a look at it later, but that's fixed. Special maneuvers. Again, this is the final thing here. So at Sparking Zero, you can perform several maneuvers that do not fall under the combo category or the blast categories. These gameplay features are numerous and range from transformation to QTE. Let's have a look at them and how they bring spotlight. Obviously, transformations, I think this is the basic thing, right? You could transform. Goten right here transforms into Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan Goku can transform into Super Saiyan 3 Goku or something like that, right? Whatever it is, you use these skill counts, of course, and then the stats of the characters improve when you transform. That's like the obvious thing as well. Same thing with the fusion. Once fused, both characters disappear from your team member screen and will be replaced by a single fused character. They cannot go back to normal once they are fused, right? So again, you can see Goten can fuse into Gotenks as long as you have Trunks on your team as well, right? Switching right here. The switch is possible once the icon is lion. So you can see right here, just specifically, this is the change icon, this like yellow circle thing. Sometimes it's blacked out, but then when it's like, again, lined up like they say, you could actually switch a character. After you switch characters, the icon is not there. Sometimes I believe after you transform, the icon also goes down for a little bit, but you are able to switch into two characters. You can see their different HP pool, and then of course you could have up to 5 characters total, so you can switch into 4 different characters total, right? If you have the 5v5, right? So that's gonna be cool. Then you could also use the change with the talk about right here. So in team battle, whilst attacking, you can let your switching character continue the assault. So like if you knock the opponent away and you switch, you could basically switch into another one of your characters and they continue to fight for you, right? You could continue the combo, or you can knock them away again, basically. Use the tactic to smoothly switch out team members while keeping up your attacks, right? Sparking mode, I think this one's very obvious. In sparking mode, you could just charge all the way up, right? You charge your key gauge to the maximum. If you're an Android, you can't really do that, but once your key's maxed, you could charge up all the way and enter sparking mode. Here you get access to your ultimate ability. Shoot key blast without consuming key. Use moves such as Violent Rush. You can perform continuous rush attacks, resulting in uninterrupted barrage melee attacks. And this sounds like it could be one of the most powerful moves in the game. Because the thing about, like, the thing is, this character, from what I understand, especially if you're like, if you, what's it called, homing dash behind the opponent and you do this Violent Rush, as it's called, it's basically just a continuous combo that some characters may not just have an ability to get out of. You would have to use something like what's it called? I would say you would have to use something like Explosive Wave or Revenge Counter potentially. I believe you could use Revenge Counter if you're getting hit behind, but then with the Revenge Counter you can get Super Perception, or the opponent maybe, I'm not sure if you could do a step in there. I think you can do a step in even if you're doing the Violent Rush and just completely avoid it. So most likely you'll have to use Explosive Wave, which I believe in that you could like potentially avoid that. It's pretty hard to avoid Explosive Wave though, to be fair, if you're getting hit. At least from my level, maybe from like a mega high level, you could be like, oh, easy, you know what I mean? But anyways, this seems good. Hyper Smash, which will inevitably break the guards of your opponent, or super movement, as it consumes some of your sparking gauge, allows you to vanish and move instantly. So those are the sparking exclusive things. Of course, with these ultimates that you also do get the option to use as well, right? So keep in mind, the ultimates will obviously use up your entire sparking mode gauge, and it'll continue to go down until you run out. You do only need 1 stock to do that though. You just need to fully charge all the way, right? Emotes right here. So you can perform the emote displayed on the emote panel by pressing, you know, one of the directional buttons. I believe this is on the classic, or no, the standard control specifically, and assign to a character prior to the fight. Perform the emote with your favorite characters to do cool stances. QTE events. Okay, so this is actually another important thing where it's obviously, you know, like the grab clashes and stuff like that. They will specifically, I guess, go into detail about this, which they have a little bit in the past, right? Make sure to include in your battle strategy to make it a turning point to throw your opponent's rhythm off. There is the speed impact, and then that's two fighters clashing and trading a series of blows. That's like when two opponents, like, you know, dash with your opponent using Dragon Dash, right? It's divided into two main parts. First, the single strike. Both sides must match their input with what's being shown. Once the winner of the single attack is decided, the action proceeds to rapid strike. During rapid strike, the final damage is inflicted is decided on the number of inputs inputted by each player. Once rapid strike ends, the winner of the single strike will send the loser flying, concluding the counter. So you want to win this strike right here, right? That's the important one, and then you do the rush right here, and that's essentially how it works. So the number of inputs performed by each player. So I assume like the more inputs the defending player puts, maybe that decreases the damage, and then the more inputs the offensive player puts, that like increases the damage that is done. And that's obviously decided by the winner of the single attack by matching the input by what's shown. We can see right here. And that's basically that. Well, actually, this is just the boost of it. So, yeah. We'll figure out more once it's there, but this is how that clash looks specifically. I mean, a lot of us have played this already, so there you go. Power impact happens when both characters perform a throw. I actually got this in one of my matches a couple of times. It's pretty fun. The impact actor is centered around comparing strength by holding the corresponding buttons. During class, a gauge will be displayed. You must adjust your inputs in order to not exceed the needle. The winner is determined by whose gauge is closer to the needle when the power impact ends. So you want to get as close to the needle as possible. You see how this needle right here is highlighted specifically right here, and then right here and right here. So I actually also think that's boosting it as well. If you take a look here, this they did boost this so it goes all the way up there and increase the needle, it looks like. So that's how the power impact does look like specifically. Again, maybe I'm looking at this a stupid way, but you can see obviously there's the impact right there, and then you see this goes up, and you want to get as close to the needle as possible, essentially, kind of what it is. And then when you boost it, I assume you just have like a better range specifically for that. So along with that, it seems, I don't know, it feels like when you boost it, it feels like, you know, you get a much bigger advantage than if you don't boost against the enemy too. Crash impact is triggered when both characters use a step at the same time. Once the crash impact begins, what's it called? What does it say here? Two sides will be randomly assigned the roles attacker and defender. The inputs shown for attacker and defender are different, so players must follow the directions. If the attacker wins, the defender will take damage. If the defender wins, they will protect themselves. A maximum of 3 exchanges will take place. The first player to win 2 exchanges will knock back the other player. So here it is. Begin to clash with the opponent. They don't specifically show a specific, like, buttons to press, because they should be random right here. So we see there's the first clash, or the second clash, and then there that is, or that was the third class specifically. So this is the first class right here. Let me just show y'all again real quick. That's the second class, third clash, and then bam, Gohan won the exchange, so he knocked the opponent back Piccolo, and then he actually did some damage to Piccolo, right? So there you go. And then the final one is Blast Impact. It's basically just the key blast, what's it called, clash right there. We've seen that the beam struggles, right? This one is self-explanatory here, so you actually just press a button to charge it up. This reminds me of Budokai 3 specific guy. I can't even speak, dude. Specifically, it reminds me of Budokai 3. So when a blast impact begins, a meter will be displayed and the gauge on the right side will increase. Pressing will convert the gauge into energy, affecting whose blast comes on tops. In addition, through the single button presses, you can increase your power through rapidly tapping the button as well. So you can also rapidly tap the button too, actually, huh? The winner will deal tremendous damage. So you can see right here, Gohan won the beam clash, and then Piccolo just took a ton of damage right there, right? 22,000 damage, right? To be fair, this is an ultimate, but still, 22,000 damage from like base Gohan. And then that's it. So that is pretty much everything there regarding all the different types of like gameplay and stuff like that. I think this is good to read through, get like a little refresher. I'll have the link to this in the I'll try to leave the links to everything here in the comments below. Right here, just a quick look, we can see a little better look at the diorama for UI Goku and Broly, and that's how it looks specifically. Take it as you will. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this diorama here. And here's a close-up look on Goku's face specifically. Then right here, DBS Hype, Marty Japan did also post the updated version of Dragon Fist Goku's Dragon Fist right here. And we can see the KL screen looks way better. So here's the Dragon Fist. Obviously, if you guys didn't know, it does work on Giants now, finally. So that's awesome. And then there's the Dragon Fist ending. Looks super, super amazing. And you can see here, this is how it looks like compared to the movie. And in like very low mega quality. Looks awesome, man. This looks absolutely beautiful. But there you go. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Know your fighters. Sure. Thanks for watching, and of course I will catch you all next time.